So hey guys, this is a test of the Panasonic GH5S. It is a 10 megapixel sensor with a focus on low light and video. The settings I'm currently using are the 4K UHD, 60 frames per second at 150 megabits capture rate. The color depth is 8-bit 420. I'm using a standard color profile, no log or anything like that. And everything is default except for the fact I have it on eye and face tracking currently. To assist in autofocusing as an individual, it's actually very important, I find, to have a preview device, and the Panasonic app tends to work pretty well. I use it on the G85 in the past, and it also seems to work fairly well on the GH5. It's tracking my eye pretty accurately, it looks like. Without this, you really don't know if you're actually in focus or not. Now, it might be better to have someone on the side actually using this app to make sure that it's focusing, but it's looking pretty good. Even if you didn't have autofocusing and you had a manual lens, you could still use the app for peak focusing to understand how far away you need to stand to get your face in focus. Again, looking pretty good on my phone. It's streaming the video to my cracked screen with very low latency. I'm recording to a Zoom H1N little audio recorder in my back pocket with a $20 lav mic. It's pretty windy out, but I don't think that's going to hurt this too much. It's not blowing too much at me. The lens I'm using is the Olympus 75 millimeter 1.8 aperture. The wind's picking up now. And this is one of the sharper lenses that I have. The Panasonic 12 to 60 millimeter 3.5 to 5.6, which also has image stabilization in the lens, is available for not too much since it's a kit lens for both the G85 and some of the G85 and some of the GH5s. So you can pick that up pretty cheap. What I find though is it's a little bit soft and it has some distortion around the edges. So it's not my first choice, but it's a good cheap option to get into GH5S photography and video work because it does offer a few stops of image stabilization. And considering how the GH5S has no in-body image stabilization, that is a valuable thing to have. It gets rid of the micro jutters, doesn't get rid of a lot of the shake, and it's not usable for walking, but it's acceptable for trying to hold the camera steady for a single shot. If you are steady-handed, this will just take the micro jutters out. What else? On a tripod, it works great. I personally use this for my studio work where I need to turn the aperture to 5.6 or higher. Generally, I don't have too much light in my home studio, and if I set the aperture to be too large, too wide, it tends to blow out too many things in the picture. And if I make the aperture small, what happens is I get noise. And so the GH5S is the best of all worlds, where I have a small sensor, high sensitivity, and so it tends to be perfect for my application. But I will admit the GH5S is a niche camera and it comes at quite a cost. That said, you get a pretty good, nice picture, and using a sharp lens like the Olympus 1.8 75 millimeter looks fantastic in my opinion. And again, this is with stock colors at around 5:45 on an October evening. Now I'm just going to walk closer to the camera, kneel down a bit, just to give you an idea of face tracking. And so I'm currently now about 8 feet away from the camera, and it tracks my face pretty well, it looks like. So not a bad job. Sorry for the ugly face to look at, but I guess all those wrinkles at least add some texture for you to look at. Okay guys, so this is again just my quick test of the GH5S with the Olympus 1.8 75 millimeter lens, and I'm very happy with the results with the right lens combo. Bye guys.